Hi, I'm Yuan, a PhD candidate at UNC Chapel Hill. Today I will be talking about research on analyzing information resources that support people during creative processes that I worked with Dr. Yinglong Zhang and Dr. Rob Capra as part of Yinglong's dissertation research. There has been very little research that has examined how such systems are used to support creative work. This paper is a continuation of a series of research we have conducted to explore how and why people use search engines to support their creative endeavors. At Chair 2019, Yinglong presented the results of a survey study with 175 participants. The important takeaway from the paper is that search were used in many different creative tasks, and search engines is important to support creative tasks. And at the Chair 2020, we presented preliminary results from a 2-week-long diary study with 11 participants who worked on creative projects. You can refer to the paper if you are interested. In this year's paper, we present additional analysis of the diary study data. Specifically, we looked at 3 main research questions. First, we investigate how the types of information resources people use differ across their different creative task stages. We also analyzed how do people use different information resources to support their creative processes, and what kind of problems they encountered. We recruited 11 people who were engaged in design-related projects to participate in the 2-week diary study. Each participant was compensated with $120. During the diary study, participants were asked to complete questionnaires to document their experiences. At the end of the 2-week diary period, we conducted interviews with them to review their diary entries and search log. Next, I'm going to talk about some selected results. We granted our work in a model of the creative process outlined by Sawyer. Sawyer's model includes stages of finding the problem, acquiring knowledge, generating ideas, selecting ideas, and executing. As part of the questionnaire that participants completed at the end of each day they worked on the project, we asked them to indicate what activities or stages they had engaged in that day. And then for each activity they selected, we asked what information resource they used to support that activity. Using this data, we looked at how different types of resources for the different creative stages. We found 3 main interesting things here. One was the use of a Q&A site was predictive of the finding goal stage. Search engines were heavily used at the lookup information stage, and the use of image was predictive for the executive stage. In research question 2, we examined how specific type of information resources were helpful to participants. We conducted qualitative analysis of open-ended question response from the daily questionnaire and participant comments during the interview. We examined the reasons participants described for using 5 types of resources shown on the right, such as search engines, videos, images, image sites, and social media. Next, we will talk about each of these. First, we identified the reasons that participants used the search engine for their creative projects. We found 4 main reasons here. To look for specific information for the projects, such as people, place, organizations. The second was to support their creative processes. For example, how to do something, how to create ideas and find ideas. And the last one was to learn domain and procedural knowledge. These examples show the diverse set of creative information needs that people use search engine for. We identified 3 main reasons that participants used video resources. The first is to learn about procedural knowledge, such as how to apply a tool or technique. The second is how to support their creative process. So a lot of times, video can help people to evaluate and select different ideas, predict what something may look like if they use a particular method. And video can also give people first-hand knowledge. They talked about how important it was to hear from other creators who had posted videos of their work. We also identified the 3 main reasons that the participants discussed for using images. During their creative projects, people used image to ideation, to get idea and spark inspiration, to see examples of finished work that other creators has produced to help their own process. And the last one here is to evaluate things they like or dislike. People talked about using image to rule out weird options if they don't like. Participants made interesting distinctions about images from search engines in contrast to images from image sites such as Pinterest, Instagram, and Flickr. Search engines were used to get a broad range of images of different qualities. Image sites, however, were used to find high-quality images from other artists or professionals. Image sites were also used to help organize the images that participants collected through the process. Q&A and social media are often used to support creative process by asking questions, finding existing answers or comments made by people with similar creative experience. Q&A and social media can also help people to get feedback from others in their network. We also analyzed the challenges that participants talked about in searching for information to support their creative projects. Here we will focus on 3 specific challenges. One of them is that participants noted the search engines retained a large amount of information, and that it was often difficult to filter and extract the parts they needed. They also noted difficulties determining the relevance of videos since they are difficult to scan. And finally, they commented that it could be difficult to find high-quality information for specialized topics. Additional challenges are discussed in the paper. Finally, we will describe some implications we see for how to help support users working on creative projects. First, we envision stage-aware search tools that tailor results to specific creative stages. For example, if a user was in a create idea stage, the search system could return more divergent results. Second are faceted control that allow users to adjust the orientation of the results. Controls could be provided to adjust the levels of divergency, the number of procedural knowledge results, or other dimensions important in creative projects. Finally, we see opportunities to help creators combine ideas and use increased interaction with the search system to help support creativity. Thanks for your interest in our work.